Testing. Okay. Alright. Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to episode 5 of KAYFABE'D. The infamous I can't make it to episode 5 episodes. Finally broke that streak of my podcast recently. So, yeah, welcome now to episode 5 of KAYFABE'D. If you're not familiar with what I do, I talk about all wrestling promotions, including AEW, New Japan, WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, any major promotions, basically, I'll talk about here. So, if you're quite the wrestling fanatic like I am, sorry, has something in my teeth. If you're quite the wrestling fanatic as I am, then you're gonna get basically all the wrestling content you probably want for a podcast here in this show. So if you're not familiar with it, again, cover all things wrestling. I first like to talk about stuff that's not going on behind the stage. So, like, basically, like, if whether that be a firing or a new deal, with WWE and a Peacock thing, or maybe some backstage heat or some rumors, or possible outcomes or something. But basically, what I like to talk about, basically just stuff that doesn't involve the wrestling show per se. But yeah, we're gonna do that here today. So we got a really big episode today. So the Royal Rumble was Sunday, this last Sunday, and I was not able to just record a special podcast like I wanted to. So I'm gonna have to cover that today. And we have basically not only the Royal Rumble, I think this is the first episode where I have every promotion down. So, WWE, New Japan. Like I said, though, we're not reviewing SmackDown this week because it was the To Go Home episode for the Royal Rumble. So whatever happens for the To Go Home episode, will already be resolved by Sunday. So we're not covering last week's SmackDown episode this week. Next week I will. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So first things first, we're going to start off with our first segment, which is around the squared circles. Like I said again before, basically we just talk about stuff that's happening behind the stage that's not part of any storylines or anything. You'll get the gist of it once you start watching episodes and stuff. You'll get like what I'm trying to talk about here. So first off, we have a really big thing, and if you don't like this person as much as I do, you're probably really happy about it. Lars Sullivan was released very quietly from WWE last month, and this is coming from reports from, I believe, was it WrestleZone? I have the article right here. So, yeah, he was released very quietly the other day. One second, sorry, gotta find the article. Here we go. Okay. So, Lars Sullivan is reportedly no longer working with WWE, and he apparently worked for 6 years. I had no idea he was with the company for that long. But according to this article by Bleacher Report, it was PW Insider who broke the news. Clicked the wrong thing. So, Sullivan was released from his contract sometime in January, and although WWE didn't officially announce the departure, the officials confirmed that they did, in fact, fire Sullivan. Basically, it was quietly done. It wasn't really made a big deal out of it. This was kind of surprising because of the fact that he was such not a big push, but he was towards getting to a somewhat of a bigger push, like they were trying to make him known basically to their audience. The last big thing he did was did some interview with Michael Cole and started screaming about bullies, and that was the last time we saw him on TV. There was rumors back way then that Vince McMahon sent him back to the PC to work on his training or wrestling because he didn't like the way he wrestled. Not sure if that's true or not, but I guess that's no longer the thing. I'm kind of happy with it. I did not like Lars Sullivan to begin with. He's kind of a major bigot, and he just overall wasn't interesting to watch on TV. I know outside that 5-star NXT ladder match that he was involved in, I couldn't really think of anything notable that he was in. And he kind of made a fool out of himself when those last SmackDown vignettes, basically. Yeah, he's gone now. So not sure if anybody else will pick him up or if we'll consider this done for his career, but guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up this is a pretty big one, pretty interesting one actually, is New Japan has signed a deal with Roku streaming services. So if you're not familiar with Roku, they're basically kind of a TV company / streaming service kind of thing. So if you don't own a Roku, if you're not familiar with a Roku, think of you buying a TV, and it's a smart TV, and on the smart TV you could stream literally from Disney Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, Amazon Prime or Prime Video, basically anything. The sky's the limit here. On the PS5, I couldn't stream HBO Max for a minute, because they hadn't released the app yet, but on the Roku you could instantly stream it. Another thing too, now with this, I can't stream New Japan on the PS5, but now I can with the Roku if I have a Roku TV. Fortunately, I don't, so I'm probably going to have to go buy a stick for this. This is one of the major reasons why I stopped watching New Japan, because I was having trouble watching it other than through my phone. So, second viewer, 2 viewers, welcome anybody who's watching right now. We're live currently. So, basically, what's going on with New Japan is that they signed a new Roku deal, and the way it's going to work is that they will air on the Roku channel in the US, the UK, and Canada for a new television deal. Beginning February 11th, the promotion will air 1 hour weekly series on the Roku channel and will air every Thursday thereafter beginning at 5 p.m. Episodes will be available on demand. Roku's estimated 61.8 million users for free of ads. Now that's big. Now if you remember last episode, we talked about the WWE Peacock deal, with them getting exposed to however a certain amount of subscribers that were on Peacock currently, and people who aren't interested in wrestling but have heard about wrestling, can now watch this product instantly and be like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued, let me check it out. Now have a bigger audience. Now New Japan can get a bigger audience with Roku. You might not want to watch WWE, but suddenly you see this New Japan wrestling thing, you're like, huh, I've heard about wrestling, but Japan wrestling, let's check it out. And Japan wrestling is very much different style than the American promotions. Strong style there is it's very brutal, it's very hard hitting, it's not a lot of grappling, it's not storytelling kind of wrestling, it's very much they're there to fuck each other up. So it's going to be interesting to see if their audience grows. So additionally, the Roku channel will host a block of library content, including highlights from the 2020 New Japan catalog with potential introduction of more historical content for the future. Financial terms were not disclosed. This is a quote coming directly from Variety into New Japan. So basically, our fans in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom are among the most loyal. They have been very clear that they want New Japan Pro Wrestling content made available to them. New Japan Wrestling is unlike any other pro wrestling in the world. It's the most athletic, sports-oriented pro wrestling on the planet. The popularity has grown significantly in North America. Kenta also making a surprise Dynamite appearance. We'll talk about that later. It seems that this is coming off the back of the WWE Peacock deal, which is set to transition on March 18th. The deal is the last effort by Roku to build programming options for the Roku channel. It was announced in January that Roku would acquire the majority of QB's library after QB. So if you're a fan of New Japan like I am, I started trying to watch it last year and I couldn't really get into it because I could never find the time. I'm like, man, I can only watch this from my phone because of the app and New Japan World, so it was hard to get my hands on it. So I feel like if New Japan creates a channel on the Roku channel, it'd be very much easier to get access to that and, be able to watch it freely and not have to watch it on my phone. I want to watch it on the TV. If you like wrestling as much as I do, I want to see it on the TV. I want to see it on the speaker. I want to hear the chops, going to their chest. I want to hear I just want to, really be put in that place of, the wrestlers. I want to get used to them and stuff. So, yeah. So that ends our Around the Squared Circle segment. There wasn't much to cover this week. There hasn't been much to cover in the past 2 weeks, to be honest with you. So yeah, like I said, I only cover really the more stuff that interests me. And yeah, so let's move on to the reviews quickly here. So first off, we're going to review the Royal Rumble. Usually I do this show, review anything that happens Friday all the way to following Thursday. So I'm reviewing Sunday with the Royal Rumble. Again, we're not going to review the SmackDown episode just because it's already happened and it was the go home episode, so the storylines there are obviously into the Rumble. So we're gonna quickly move on from there. So the pre-show, Charlotte and Asuka versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch this match, but I do know Ric Flair caused a distraction, and Asuka is yet again on the kickoff show. Wasn't sure how to feel about that. Asuka is a great talent, and I just feel like they're not really using her. They're probably just like, shit, we have her, so we gotta give her something. And now she's taking yet another loss, losing her tag team champion. She wasn't even really, shining as a double champ. She just lost him, and kind of a disappointing move, to be honest with you. Either Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax aren't the very interesting tag team title champions, but we'll see where that goes from there. So, the main opener of the show, Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. Now, even though, this match was going to be just a bunch of finishers and stuff, and like I already knew it was going to be like, it's going to be like just a little bit of a back and forth, I was kind of interested in this match. I wanted to see what they could do. But the match, like I said, was just an exchange, Claymore kicks, spears, and a jackhammer, which Drew McIntyre kicks out of. Who kicks out of the jackhammer? Not that many people. Just Drew McIntyre is one of the first people. And Goldberg kicks out of the Claymore kick. And again, not a lot of people kick out of the Claymore kick. Drew delivers a few Claymore kicks to put down Goldberg. And I was very surprised that this was the first match of the night. Not sure why they had it for the first match. I thought maybe Goldberg would appear at number 30 for the Royal Rumble, and didn't happen. So, again, it's a pretty surprise one on first. Second match is Sasha Banks versus Carmella. These two have really, really great chemistry. However, this match felt very lackluster. It felt like there was nothing there for them. Just my personal opinion, though. You guys could probably see it differently. But for me, didn't interest me much. I'm wondering who Sasha's next opponent will be after Carmella, as they both can put each other to higher levels. As I said, they have great chemistry. They work really well together. It's an interesting duo for them to fight against each other. Like I said, pretty interesting to see them fight each other. Both of their gears look fantastic. With Sasha's gear looked really on point. I believe she was like wearing some sort of Louis Vuitton gear. Kind of catch my eye. It was really interesting to see her wear that. So, then we move on. Now this is where it gets good. The Women's Royal Rumble. It was amazing from start to finish. Like, I'm telling you, I was hooked. I can't believe how hooked I was into this match. I was really looking forward to the men's, but this, I was like, no way the men's Royal Rumble. After this, I was like, no way the men could top that. Bianca Belair yet again puts on a fantastic show, making an even better show than her last year's appearance. If you're familiar with her last year's appearance, she was with NXT still, and she eliminated a bunch of other opponents. She set the record, basically, as an NXT superstar. So she was great. Shotzi Blackheart entered the Rumble at number 5, and I popped. She's one of my favorite ones in NXT. If you guys have been watching the show lately, she's one of my favorite ones in NXT. I haven't really been doing much of her other than the Dusty Rhodes Classic, but she's definitely a favorite of mine. Notable appearances are Jillian, Tori Wilson, and Victoria. They come out. Rhea Ripley entered at number 14, and I for sure thought she was going to win it, especially with Charlotte entering at 15. Rhea Ripley stays in the entire match during her time and getting a total of 6 eliminations. Rhea's call-up, I believe, could be soon. I feel like the reason why she was put in this is because her last match was against Raquel Gonzalez, and she lost that match, the last man standing match. So I was like, oh, she's going to get called out because we haven't really seen her in the past few weeks of NXT. Rhea and Bianca put on a fantastic finish. Like, this is great. If you don't want to watch the whole Rumble, at least watch these two's finish, because it is like, it kept me on the edge of my seat, literally jumping up and down, hoping Rhea would win. I was rooting for Rhea, was really rooting for Rhea, so I'm very surprised they got Bianca to win. I had this theory of Rhea Ripley winning the whole thing, and I was like, okay, my theory's proven, and when Rhea lost, I was like, wow, okay, I guess there goes my theory. Puts on a fantastic match, wondering if then Bianca wins the match again, and wondering if she'll challenge Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. And this is possibly the best Rumble match in history. At least I believe so. It was really great, blew my expectations out of the water. Next up, we have the Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens match. This is the last man standing match for the Universal title. Now, if you're familiar with me, I've reviewed, I think, 2 last man standing matches, I believe. Or just 1, I believe. I'm not sure. I know Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley was 1. So this might be my second one, actually. So, I don't like last man standing matches for the reason that for the winner to win, you have to basically hit your opponent with a truck and then some. You know, there's going to be some big spots, but I don't like the leading up to the big finish. It's just, I don't know, I guess since the pandemic happened and with Edge and Randy Orton having that last 40-minute last man standing match, I didn't like it. So, you know, it was last man standing matches to me have been quite not my favorite as of late. So I know this is a red Solo cup also. This is just water. Just can't even show it. Just plain water. There's nothing special in here. If you're like, why is he drinking a red cup? Out of a red cup. Fantastic match. Some of the spots that stood out to me were the forklift one, the golf cart. A lot of people saying they copied Kenny Omega and Sammy Guevara. They did not copy it. You know, Kenny Omega and Sammy Guevara definitely did not come like it. Come on, stop saying they copied it. It's just a spot. You know, if they were straight up copying it, you'd know. Them fighting behind the Thunderdome was pretty interesting. Getting to see all that big space. I didn't realize how much space they have behind there. Like, Jesus Christ, there's so much shit they can do with all that space they have. Like, it's literally crazy. Like, as soon as they went behind the curtain, I was like, whoa, that's the rest of the stadium. Like, they make the Thunderdome look huge, and that's the rest of the stadium. Fucking insane. The insane production they put into this show. I didn't see this actually. This is all over social media. The handcuff spot was a little awkward, but I didn't even notice it. I had to rewind it to really notice. I was like, oh, it was a little awkward, but I didn't notice it at first. Like I said earlier, I didn't like last man standing matches. However, this match really stood out to me. I really enjoyed Roman choking Kevin Owens as the finish to the match. He didn't need this big bump. They didn't need to create this huge spot for to put out each other. Roman looks like he was in an actual street fight. Made Roman Reigns feel like he was dangerous. Like, I'll be honest with you, choking a man out and then him not even moving to the count of 10. It's crazy. Men's Royal Rumble. Honestly, wanted Shinsuke to win it all. Was really hoping Shinsuke would win it all. I honestly feel like this could have been his road to, you know, higher uprising, basically, especially with his last few matches and stuff and what he's been doing lately. So I was kind of disappointed that he didn't. Carlito returns, one of my favorites of the roster, of the old WWE roster, and he looked absolutely jacked. Like, I gotta show you guys. Like, when he came out, I was like, dude, that's not Carlito. And no, it was. Like, he absolutely, like, this boy was like jacked to the core. Like, if you had seen him before, you know, he's obviously really scrawny and stuff and, you know, not doing much, but this dude either just like was like, I'm gonna come back strong as hell, or you know, I'm gonna just wreck shit. So I'm gonna show you guys really quickly. Here he is. This is him. He was fucking, oh, don't tell me. I don't know why this is messed up, but he was absolutely jacked. Like, he was freaking crazy. Like, oh my god, like, this dude is obviously in unbelievable shape. He's gonna win this fucking Rumble. Well, not obviously he's gonna win, but this dude came like, he's like, yeah, this is my moment. I'm coming back and I'm gonna steal the fucking show. Randy Orton was taken out very early in the match due to an injury. So Edge and Randy Orton came out at number 1 and number 2. This was announced on WWE Backstage. basically continuing their rivalry of sorts, and Edge really kind of just brutalizes him and takes him out. I don't really like when they do that spot where, the number one will just come right back out at number 30, because you'll know, like, obviously, you'll forget maybe, but then in the back of your mind, like, oh no, he's gonna come back. Why would he be injured, be taken out like that? Um, Edge stays in the match for very, very long, to the point where I was like, when is he gonna get the fuck out of here? Christian then makes his actual in-ring return. He had a quote-unquote in-ring return earlier this year, but was instantly taken out by Randy Orton. Braun Strowman then enters at number 30. Seth Rollins returns and instantly becomes the person I'm rooting for. He comes in, I think, at number 29. And in a shocking victory, Edge wins the Rumble, and I had no idea that he would even win. So, quite a shocker for me, to be honest with you. But the rating for the night is a 9.5 out of 10. I'm telling you, it was one of the best shows. It had me on the edge of my seat. Literally have not been excited that much for a show in a very long time. Other than the Drew versus Goldberg and Sasha Banks Carmella match, this pay-per-view delivered beyond the standards, and I had so much fun watching it. I really enjoyed the Women's Royal Rumble match, and I'm not sure how I felt about the outcome of the Men's Royal Rumble match, but I felt just the same about the women's match. It was really good from start to finish. However, I feel like I enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble match much more than I did the men's. The women did a fantastic job that night, and they delivered. Bianca Belair is going to be somebody who you remember for a very long time. You're going to remember her, but like, I remember her. She puts on a show every time she's in the Rumble, and she's going to be someone to look out for every year. And honestly, I could see her being the WWE champion, women's champion, at least at WrestleMania. She does have 3 people to pick between Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Io Shirai. So we'll see. I'm very interested to see who she's going to pick. Not sure if Edge will choose McIntyre or Roman. However, he does have the choice of picking whoever he wants in the company. So he could pick Finn Balor, which we'll get into a little later. He does show up on NXT. If he chooses McIntyre, at which point he'll lose the belt to Randy. Or if he does choose McIntyre, and at which point he loses the belt to Randy, we'll have to see, at Raw. Hopefully, he doesn't go after Drew McIntyre. And Randy was like, no, I'm taking this title. You're going to face me. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. Really enjoying that you can't even guess the Rumble winners in the past 2 years. WWE is really good at swerving people, and I honestly really enjoy it. That's how you swerve people, and that's how you get people to really pay attention to your project. And you're like, oh shit, I don't even know what's going to happen, so I have to watch it because I have no idea who's going to win the Rumble. Like, I had no idea who was going to win the Women's Rumble. I instantly was just like Rhea Ripley instantly, and for the Men's Rumble, I was like, I don't know. It could be between this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. We'll just have to see. And that's how you should get people to tune into your product. It's really good. So we're about 25 minutes into this podcast as of right now. So we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to move on to the Raw review, and then we'll get right into it. And yeah, we're going to take a few breaks here and there. I realize, it's kind of healthy to take a break for me at least. That way I don't just keep talking and run out of air towards the end of energy. So we're going to take just a quick, maybe 2-3 minute break. So anybody who's watching right now live on Twitch, go use the bathroom, get a drink of water or something, and we'll be back around 2-3 minutes. But yeah, so we're going to take a quick little break, you guys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. We took longer than expected. I had to use the bathroom really quickly, so decided to hurry up and take that time as a break to go to the bathroom. So, moving on. So we opened up with Raw next day. So Raw, we have segment A. Shit, I'm reading off my notes again. We have the opening to the show, Drew McIntyre. Show opens up about Drew McIntyre cutting a promo about his match last night. Edge comes out, tells him, when you'll know I'm ready when I, by the time he'd be like, you'll know I'm ready. Like he'll basically tell me, I'm ready. Signaling that, don't trust me when I'm around you. Don't compliment me, because Drew McIntyre was showering him with compliments, and Edge was like, watch your back more, because I'll be after. I could be after you, and you never know it. Sheamus then broke kicks Drew McIntyre. This is my theory of them being, WrestleMania opponents, so kind of helps with my theory currently. Then we have the following segment, which is Bad Bunny comes out. He does an sit down interview with The Miz, and then Damian Priest comes out and makes his main roster debut and has a match with The Miz. Now, Damian Priest, if you're not familiar with him, is from NXT, possibly one of the better North American champions lately, as of late. He's really good. My favorite match with him was when he had fought against Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver in Your House. He was a really great North American champion, but I felt like his reign didn't really get to shine as much. Was kind of hoping he'd stay in NXT. Maybe he'll go back. I don't think he was ready for the main roster quite yet. His last match was against Karrion Kross. But, obviously I feel like Karrion Kross is the same effect as a Fiend, where if Karrion Kross comes to your path and you get fucked up by Karrion Kross, you're immediately moving up to the main roster. Because so far, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and now Damian Priest have now moved up to the main roster, getting their asses handed to them by Karrion Kross. So, there's that. So that was basically all I caught for the show. Alexa Bliss does come out against Randy Orton and has this kind of like blood spilling out of her mouth and blood. I'm glad it was during the Edge versus Randy Orton match. My notes are super organized for this Raw thing, so I'm just going to skip over the Raw. So again, I didn't really catch much of it, to be honest with you. Got kind of busy this week, but I was able to catch NXT and AEW. Those are the two shows I usually stick with. Not usually this unorganized with my podcast, but just because of what's been going on this week, I haven't been able to catch up on most of my stuff. But, so moving on to Impact. Again, not much interested me from this show. I was able to catch the full thing. But I will say, even though I don't have really much written down, so far the wrestlers that are interesting me are Moose, Rosemary, Rick Swann, and Billy Mack. As I think I said this in my last episode, it's going to take me a minute for me to get really used to Impact. When I first started watching NXT, basically I didn't get into it until like a month after watching it, and at that time NXT TakeOver New York was going on, so my first full exposure was to that, and it was pretty good exposure. I got really interested with Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream. That was my NXT class, quote unquote. So yeah, I have high faith with me getting into Impact. Like I said, give me about a month or so, and I should be like reviewing shows pretty instantly. But I am trying to check out Impact for those who watching from Impact, or those who are watching are familiar with Impact. One more thing I forgot to mention as well is I did write down some notes from New Japan's show. Jay White returns actually and cuts a promo saying we are the real Bullet Club, not some one-off reunion. He's obviously spitting threats or insults to the AEW Bullet Club, saying this is the real Bullet Club, not some reunion, with the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, too sweeting each other. But yeah, so we're going to move straight on to the NXT notes. So first off, we have NXT TakeOver Valentine's Day. We finally know what the actual TakeOver day is. So they're calling it NXT Vengeance Day. So if you're not familiar with Vengeance Day, it was an old WWE pay-per-view that I believe they did right around the time Valentine's Day was coming out. So we have the full match card announced. It is Kushida versus Johnny Gargano for the North American Champion. It is then a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Champion for Io Shirai, Mercedes Martinez, and Toni Storm. And then we have, I believe it is Man, there was one more match announced. We also have we do know for the Dusty Rhodes Classic we'll have that match as well. NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. We'll have the match for whoever advances to the NXT Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament. It'll be for the tag team champions, and we have a few bots in our chat. We have Bellywood and C. Benelli. Well, thank you for the bots, I guess. Whoever is deciding to spam me as of right now. I don't really have a lot of views, so you're not going to get anywhere with these. So, not sure what you're expecting. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's the first time we've been hit by bots. Anyway, so we have the NXT Championship match: Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. I'm kind of glad that it's not going to be a triple threat as I thought it was going to be. So Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne should be really interesting. Should be quite the match before Finn Balor and Karrion Kross actually take place. So it could be a pretty interesting match. I don't think we've ever seen these two face off against each other. And with Pete Dunne's brutal style next to Finn Balor's more technical, ruthless aggression kind of style, it's going to be quite interesting to see how that mixes. Then we had the Women's Dusty Rhodes Classic final as well. So not a lot of matches actually for this year's this year's takeover. So it's going to be interesting to see. I will possibly do a review on that the same day. Have a special episode set aside for it, depending how big it is and depending what happens. So. Worthily note, I think the Undisputed Era might actually not be on this card. So, who knows what's going to happen. So, the opener to the show is Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Kaden Carter and Casey Canizaro. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai advance. Then we have Liga del Fantasma versus the Lucha House Party. Again, I'm really glad to see Lucha House Party being utilized, even if they did lose. MSK comes out and cut a promo against Liga del Fantasma, and it was actually really good. It was really interesting. I know I've said before that they weren't really growing on me, but now seeing them actually cutting a promo, and I was like, I need to see them cut a promo, and maybe I'll, kind of give them give them a chance. They've grown on me now. They can show that they can both showcase in the ring and on the mic, so they're pretty interesting to watch. And actually, now I'm kind of rooting for them. I'm rooting for them to take the whole thing, even though they're a brand new tag team, and it'd be a real shocker to see this brand new tag team just instantly take the tag team titles away from the current tag team champions instantly. So with the first segment, we have Pete Dunne cutting a promo on Finn Balor, saying he warned Finn that he wanted a title shot, but didn't listen, and that's why he snapped his fingers. Finn Balor then comes out to say that he's just hiding behind his goons, and announces that him and Dunne will get his chance at NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. It'll be Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor, just them two. And then Edge comes out and interrupts. It's a little surreal seeing Finn Balor and Pete Dunne and Edge stand together in the same ring. Those three competitors from basically three different generations. Never thought I would see that, especially being a fan back when Edge was facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Champion. Edge comes out and delivers a really well promo. He still got it. Basically, he cuts it really simple and short. He's straight to the point. He's not trying to tease the audience or make them feel stupid or, making them guess. He's basically saying, hey, I have a choice at any champion in the company, and just so happens that, the NXT's on the champion is on the table. I've never had it. Not saying I can go for it, but I've never had it. So it seems pretty interesting. Says it, and then, basically, so now we have this three-way where anytime there's a Royal Rumble winner, they can now challenge for the NXT title as well, considering what happened last year with Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble. Next up match. So the next match we have is Kurt Stallion versus Santos Escobar. I was really excited for this match. I'm just genuinely really excited for this match. Both of these stars really shine. I was really looking forward to it this week, especially with the role Stallion has been on. Scarlett also comes in and watches the match from afar. Santos Escobar obviously retains his championship in a well-fought battle. Karrion Kross then comes out after the match to confront Escobar, and Escobar seems really unfazed by Karrion's presence. I'm not sure where this storyline is going to go or how this is working out, but it's really interesting to me so far. The The following segment is Karrion Kross confronts Edge. He says that, if Edge tries to go after the NXT title, he'll have to go to Karrion Kross, as that was the title that Karrion never lost. And then Edge is basically like, hey, those words are antagonizing me to come back next week, so watch your back, homie. Man, I'm telling you, the freedom and creativity, or the matches we can have now that NXT is considered the main roster now, quote unquote. The possibilities are endless right now, man. Then we have for the main event, Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa versus the Undisputed Era. Those representing are Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Timothy Thatcher is absolutely brutal in this match. He absolutely just wrecks Roderick and Adam. The submission spot they did had me a little bit on edge. Tommaso was constantly kicking out and honestly giving me goosebumps throughout the entire thing. The match is really good. There's kick out after kick out after kick out after false finish. Tommaso and Timothy advance after what looks like a brutal Widow's Peak to Roderick Strong. Like, he sold it really good. Like, oh shit, this dude is possibly knocked the fuck out. Tommaso and Timothy and the Grizzled Young Veterans break out into a fight after the match and in the show. My review on the show is that this show was amazing and possibly the best show of the year so far. Every match was great from top to bottom. Edge also didn't take up the spotlight or make it obvious who he was going after. He made a point and handled his business perfectly. Kross confronting everybody in this path makes me wonder what direction the story's going to go in. Looks like they're doing a really slow burn to his eventual title match with Finn Balor. MSK has finally grown on me. They had good matches, but overall just didn't really stick with me. But after their promo, I'm now really enjoying them so far, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us. Glad to see Pete Dunne and Finn Balor also getting their own match, and Kyle won't be involved in any way. However, I'm wondering how the Undisputed Era will be after not being on the card for God knows how long for the past. I think for being on the streak or being on the card for the past 2 years. So the rating for the show I gave was a 10 out of 10. Perfect show. Again, really enjoyed it from top to bottom. No complaints at all. Like, really, really good show. I'm getting kind of tired here, and I realize I shouldn't have done that, so I'm going to hurry up and speed through these next few notes. It's the AEW notes. So, bear with me. So, we had a tag team battle royale. The way commentary and the rest of the AEW markets this match legitimately made it so obvious that the Young Bucks are possibly going to win, and I was absolutely hating it. But just as I had typed up that note, Matt was eliminated from the Battle Royal really early on. John Silver then becomes the lone survivor of the Dark Order, really putting on a show. The Good Brothers then come out and interfere in the match, messing with Private Party as they will defend their tag team champions against them. MJF eliminates the Young Bucks, thank God, and then Jericho and MJF win the match, now being able to challenge the Young Bucks at Revolution. No fucking idea how that's going to play out. Then we have a Jade vignette playing, showcasing her physique. And then we have Sting in the Darby Allin segment. I wrote a little ugly because, as you know, if you've been watching for the past 5 episodes, I've hated every time Darby and Sting come out. Darby Allin is going to defend his championship next week against Joey Janela. Thank God, because now we'll have an actual title defense. Team Taz comes out on the big screen, cuts a promo. I'm really enjoying Ricky Starks' work, to be honest. He's really being the standout of the group. He's also really good at delivering his promos. Like, he's really delivers it cut on, or dead on. Sting cuts the promo, and I feel like Darby really needs his own say. He's just the champion, and he's letting Sting do the work, and he's just following him around like a little sidekick. Absolutely do not like it. We've heard this before. Now, this is the match of the night. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa just goes straight into the attack. She jumps in from her entrance and just goes straight into it. Britt Baker tries to lock in the lockjaw super quickly, and then we have an all-out brawl. I was really looking forward to this match for so long, and especially after seeing Thunder Rosa's work. I'm really surprised this wasn't on pay-per-view, but after this match, it looks like we're getting a rematch. Britt Baker shines so much. This is possibly her best match to date. Really technical. If you haven't seen this match, or if for the wrestling match of the week, it's definitely this one. Thunder Rosa is super impressive as well. These girls have such great chemistry. I was loving every second of this match. I really didn't want it to end. Britt Baker wins basically by fucking knockout. Thunder Rosa sells the hell out of a head bump to the turnbuckle, and Jesus, 5-star out of 5-star match. Amazing from both talent. Hopefully this leads to a rematch at Revolution. And then we have the following segment with MJF and Jericho as they celebrate winning the Battle Royale. But Sammy confronts Jericho, saying they're not always together in things. And MJF says, you know what, I need a conversation with the rest of the Inner Circle, as Jericho goes out to find Sammy. And Wardlow kicks out the cameraman. Then we had the Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian wedding. Apparently this wedding was their real ceremony, because of the pandemic. So they had to improvise and have their ceremony at the AEW Dynamite thing. They apparently were married a few days beforehand. Penelope's dress was in a wedding gear inspired. Mio makes a reference about Lana's wedding, saying he doesn't want to do that again, about, saying, who, if somebody wants to, doesn't want these two to get married, speak now or hold your peace. The crowd starts to sing What Is Love. It's pretty funny. Orange Cassidy then comes out of the cake. Then we have the following segment again. This show was very segment heavy, or at least my notes are very segment heavy. FTR and Tully Blanchard kidnap Marco Stunt. That's basically all I gotta say. Then we had the main event: Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Jon Moxley, Ray Phoenix, and Pac. So Moxley comes out with new gear, where that is included interesting notes. Ray Phoenix is obviously the star of this match. He goes crazy. He has great chemistry with everybody, including the really big and tall Doc Gallows. Lance Archer comes in and attacks Kenny and the Good Brothers. And then Kenta, this is the one you guys have been waiting for. The end of the match, this masked figure comes in, wearing a mask, a beanie. He's basically covering himself. And Kenta attacks Jon Moxley. And, has finally creaked open the Forbidden Door. If you're not familiar with the Forbidden Door, basically an American promotion such as AEW wouldn't be seen, a bigger promotion like AEW wouldn't be seen working with the likes of New Japan Pro Wrestling, with considering New Japan Pro Wrestling and how big it is. So they're opening the Forbidden Door per se, where the possibilities and the matches we can possibly get are now opening. Think about Jay White versus Jon Moxley, or Kota Ibushi versus Orange Cassidy. Kenny Omega taking on Kota Ibushi again at the AEW Double or Nothing or All Out event. Could be the craziest shit we've ever seen in our fucking lives. But yeah, Kenta comes out and basically knocks out Jon Moxley for go to sleep. He doesn't get much of a pop. Kenta does not get much of a pop. I feel like the only people who freaked out about it were the people online. I got spoiled for it actually, but I was freaking out so bad. Honestly, did not think they were gonna do that. My watch doesn't want to charge for some reason. Here's my phone. Nothing wants to charge for me tonight. But yeah. I consider the show an 8.5 out of a 10. A really good show tonight, especially with the beach break theme going on. The show felt like a pay-per-view, and some of the matches were really good and shook the whole place down, especially with Thunder Rosa and the Britt Baker match. I'm so interested to see what they do with this New Japan partnership and where they can lead with the Bullet Club in Japan. I'm genuinely surprised that MJF and Jericho won the Battle Royale, considering what this means for the Inner Circle down the line. So I realized that I really kind of pushed everything and, kind of rushed this episode, but that's just because I'm tired and I really need to get this episode out. Next week, hopefully, won't be like that. Work, unfortunately, scheduled me today from 9 to 6. So if you're not familiar with my podcast schedule, I like to do this Thursdays in the afternoon. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that today. So, but I did it Thursday night. I'm going to try and get this out hopefully Friday morning or Saturday morning. Hopefully, it will be Friday. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much. This is episode 5. I realized I wasn't too organized in this episode, but I promise next episode will be very different. But yeah, I've had fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. And this is episode 5 of KAYFABE'D. Peace.